Turkey's Gift to the People by Annie Rucki. This story is based upon a traditional Navajo folktale. It is not meant to be an accurate retelling of the traditional folktale, but an adaptation and interpretation of it. People is used throughout the story in the Native American way of referring to animals as the animal people, thereby acknowledging the close relationship between all forms of life. Once there was a time when all the people of the world lived and worked together in perfect harmony. One day during this time, Crow was exploring far from home. It was a beautiful day. To the east, he saw the sun shining on the hills. To the south, he saw the wind blowing gently through the grasses. To the west, he saw the cool water dripping from the mountaintops to the streams below. Crow headed north, flying farther and farther. Suddenly, he saw something he had never seen before on the horizon. It was a great wall of water, taller than any tree, wider than any river, and it was headed right toward his people and his homeland. Quickly, Crow turned and flew toward home, calling to the others along the way to warn them of the great wall of water that would soon flood their low, flat land. The people gathered together and listened to Crow, and they began to worry. Bear said, "We must move to higher ground." "But the mountains are too far away," said Butterfly. "Then we must go to the hills," decided Bear. The people agreed. "We must go to the hills and wait there for the water to recede." When they finally reached the hilltops and looked toward the wall of water far off in the distance, the people discovered it was much larger than they had imagined. These hills were not high enough to protect them. Then Mouse stepped forward. "I have an idea. These giant reeds are hollow, and their inside chambers are bigger than any cave. If we can get inside, we can wait there until the water passes." Beaver knew this was her job. She began to gnaw an opening at the base of the reed so the people could get inside. When Beaver finished, the people began to file into the reed 2 by 2, but very quickly the chamber became crowded and the people realized this single chamber could not hold them all. "Beaver," said Moose, "climb onto my back and chew a hole through the chamber above." So Beaver climbed onto Moose's back, but she could not reach the top of the chamber. "Wait," said Spider. "I will weave a strong web for Beaver to climb so she can reach the top." When Spider finished, Beaver climbed the web and chewed a hole through the next chamber. In this way, Beaver and Spider worked together to open chamber after chamber, and the people followed them, moving farther and farther up the reed until everyone was inside. But Ground Squirrel was keeping track of everyone who entered the reed. By his tally, one couple was missing. "Where are Mr. and Mrs. Turkey?" he shouted. The people searched all the chambers of the giant reed, but the couple was nowhere to be found. Ground Squirrel stepped outside and looked anxiously toward the approaching wall of water. Eagle knew he could help, so he swooped down and out of the reed and circled high in the sky in search of his friends. Almost immediately, he spotted them, running as fast as their short legs could carry them, just in front of the floodwaters. "Hurry," Eagle shouted. "Come on, you can make it." It seemed like forever, but finally the couple flapped through the entrance to the reed, puffing and panting and gobbling. Everyone crowded around them while Wasp quickly sealed the opening so no water could get inside. The people blurted out, "What happened? Where were you? You could have been killed." But Mr. and Mrs. Turkey were still trying to catch their breath. Finally, Mr. Turkey stood up and spoke. "You forgot the seeds," he exclaimed. Then he spread his feathers, letting thousands of seeds that he and his wife had collected fall to the ground. The seeds the people would need to rebuild and survive after the floodwaters receded. All the people cheered. Each of them had helped in his own way, but it was Turkey who had remembered the seeds.